Being an investor myself for the last 8 years, what I have realized is people don't in a major move, the Reserve Bank of India. Being an investor myself for the last 8 years, what I have realized is people don't no problem. Good afternoon. This is FIDE Senior Trainer and International Master Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Session to this intermediate training session. So I will continue with the topic and the pawn cover of the king. I think it will continue many sessions because there are so many examples, so many themes to show in this uh, topic. Hello, Clara Alonso, Namakshi Bastu. Good afternoon. So this position, white is this game. Dr. John Nunn is white, and Grandmaster Peter Wells is black in England Championship 1980. Normally, John Nunn is a pure E4 player, but he may be particularly prepared for this game, and he started with the D4. The semitaras. Now, E4 is the main line. Possible is E3 also with a small advantage. So we have reached a typical isolated queen pawn position, main line. I think this is a mistake. Black should play here bishop f6, followed by knight c6 to e7, fortifying the d5 square. It is a reasonable move, bishop f6 and knight c6 to e7, and completing development slowly. But this is a positional error because strengthening the d4 point and one of the main defender of black king is no more there. So white is starts generating threats on the king side. Now black is missing the absence of the knight on f6. Knight on f6 would have been a great defender. The typical mating pattern, forcing weaknesses in the pawn cover of black king. Now, white makes an interesting. This is too late. He should have done it that time, but now it is not good move. So white finds an excellent plan. Now h4. The idea now he will plant the knight on g5 and the rook lift to third rank. If he plays h6, it is worse. After h6, he can play queen to e2 and queen e4, giving a lot of problems. Or bishop c2 and queen to e3, d3. So ng5 and now bishop into pawn. It is too much time consuming and is bad. Now takes. You can also even try g3 king g2 rook h1, but the long diagonal may create counterplay for black. So white take and a tempo. Now white comes with a threat. Already rook h3 is a nasty threat. E5 doesn't work. Now E5 doesn't work here. Trying to stop the rook bishop controlling, but in this case, suppose he plays E5, queen to F3 would be very annoying. Queen F3 followed by B4, it is very annoying. Okay, now G3 will come, other rook will join. So he decided even rook G3 is also dangerous. So he plays here F5, trying to close the diagonal. But now not only the pawn cover of the king is weak, a backward pawn has been created. So many weaknesses. The knight on c6 is unprotected, a backward pawn, and also a queen is also not comfortably placed. Threat. Look at the non-stop threats. Threat, threat. Now bishop g5, then queen is running out of reasonable square. The main plan is to go queen h5, rook h3, bg5. Tempo, g6 will seriously weaken the black squares. After g6, queen to h6 and queen g7, queen h4 with a great positional advantage. Total domination of dark squares on the king side. Now the game finishes up. h6 is the only move, but then queen g6 is unplayable, and after h6, a tempo. The queen has to go to f8 only. Vacate the g6 square for the white queen. Tempo. The threat is rook into pawn check, and then bishop f6 check. Check. Now queen check and rook checkmate. Well, black could avoid all this, but at the cost of more material earlier. And so the whole point is the bishop f6 move was wrong timing. He had to play bishop f6. He should do now. Now, now he should do this bishop f6 now. With the idea, now the knight will come. This is okay. Though white is better already. So I leave this one and go to the next example. Oh, we'll leave this one. This Peter Lukacs. He is one of the best coach of Hungary nowadays and mentor of Richard Rapport. You know. So he is having a great theoretical understanding, a very solid grandmaster, and perhaps now at present the best coach of Hungary, top coach. We reach a typical IQP, rook e1. Okay, a3 is also good idea. Idea bishop to queen to d3, rook e1, bg5, etc. Knight in d4 is unplayable. d5. So far, so good. The position is theoretical and white stands better. The simple plan queen to d3, bg5, etc. and the rook lift. Now, obviously, the correct plan, good or bad. Now, black must play g6. Black must play this. Even after that, white has an edge. After g6, bishop to h6, rook e8, rook 8 d1. The position definitely in favor of white. Rook 8 d1 with the idea he can play h3, queen e3 and continue to put pressure on the black king's castle. G6 is imperative, but not feeling the sense of danger. Black plays mechanical rook c8. The point is now the knight is overloaded knight. Point is the knight is overloaded. This knight overloaded to the defense. So d5 can come with a decisive tempo. He cannot take knight into and pawn into pawn will open a position for the threat is rook into bishop. Immediate threat now bishop to f6 and now g6 is too late. After g6 rook into e7 wins material. Now the direct threat bishop and knight and mate and this is not working. Rook into e7, queen into e7, and d5 is finished. So only move. There is no other move. This is the practically only move. Forced mate threat. Only move. He can go queen to h4 also, but why not gain another extra tempo for piece activity? Gain as much tempo. forced rather. Now bishop into g5, you will invite the knight to g5 with a deadly attack. So rook. Now the game is a technical game. I mean a tactical game. So finishing the game. Nothing he could do. Nothing he could do. The threat is bishop into bishop and knight g5 with pressure on f7, h7. Forced knight rd7 into f7 into g6. Black cannot stand the pressure. Simply, what else you can do? What else you can do? Knight f5, queen f6 is entering. Knight f5 is not working. Finish. Now you have to accept rook into knight, and after queen takes knight, white will end up same color bishop with the two extra pawns. Okay, white can continue to attack here also, but when there is a easy win, you need not try to push further. What you need is a point, so knight into, only move rook into, queen into. Now queen into queen, rook into queen is winning easily. Or you play queen to f8, then queen to b7 is finishing, lost. Now I would like to ask some questionnaire during the game. I would like to ask questions at certain points. So it will be more interesting. Orthodox defense, queen's gambit decline. We reach a IQP position. Once Topalov played white, he played knight to b3 and lost badly to Kasparov. And after that, he commented, I will never in my life place my knight on b3. Because of that, he lost. So if white loses with a knight on b3, what about black? What about black? The game was played way back in 1930, around nearly 100 years back, 92 years back precisely. So in those days, it was not known such a place will be terribly placed. Taras for me. Okay, he has moved, but you can imagine a knight on c6 would have controlled d5. So now knight e5, the position all white needs to bring the rook to center. Rook e1, queen d3, rook d1, and then with an easy plan of attack. Though the position is still tough, white has got a clear cut initiative for king's play. This is a weak move. This is a weak move. But he should better think how to complete development. He should play BD7, whatever it is. This is the best chance. BD7 is best, but bad move. But BD7 would have given a positional advantage. So he decided. Necessary. Queen into loses a material. Bishop into rook e1 will come. Rook e1 will come with an advantage. So it comes. Now with queen on e2, next rook e1 and knight into f7 will come. And if black takes knight into e5, then he will have backward pawn on f7 plus space and very good attacking chances. Knight into e5 will reduce the pressure temporarily. Then a rook lift to third rank, rd1, rd3, bc2. Whichever rook, because there is no point rook. Maybe rook d1, rook e1 was also possible. But because the c file is open, now white is preparing to do some activity there. Cutting down all possibility of counterplay. I think this is very slow, but this was 1930. So he was not vigilant about the danger. And I told you earlier that queen and bishop is there. Black must continuously was. Rook c1 was bad. Now at this point, he should have played in back. Even after this, white is better. Now n c6 is coming. White stands better. Little better. Marginal. Plus equal. But played this bad move. Rook c8. No, 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 no. Rook c8 now. Knight into 4. If king into, then queen into e6 check, king g6, bc2 check, will run to a mating attack. Or king to e8, then bishop a4 check, should win easily. Now rook into is only move rook into knight. Forced. There is no time for bishop c8. Bishop c8 loses. Bishop c8 loses to queen into f7, take, and knight d6 fork. So there is no time. Is now after queen into queen e7, then rook e7 wins 2 pawn up. Now queen e7. You have to take knight into what else? Now queen into queen is not possible. Free. And after knight into, maybe you can take rook into now bishop d5, rook into queen, and 2 pawn up. Just 2 pawn up. So this is player must be vigilant with knight on e5. Then you have to be very careful about that sacrifice on f7. Hello, Bhavani. No attack. This is bad. The only move here is knight to f6. It is known to theory. After this, white is plus equal. Knight to here, then knight comes there. Then you can play g6, b7, castle, and later on knight to d7, knight b6. Now, priority should give g6, bg7, and castle, and d7. But even then, Tal found a good idea in this variation that give the extra pawn at right time d6 and gain space. That is how he beat Botvinnik in a Russian team championship match. I can demonstrate that. Now, knight c3, g6. Now queen a4 check. BD7 is bad. Now you can play what you can play here G3 BG2 also. G3 BG2 knight E2. Now queen here. Now we can prepare bishop F5 with the idea bishop to D3 and bishop C4. This is idea is possible. Bishop F5 with the idea he is preparing to come here. But here white can play D4, and on this white can maintain that. It's not that easy. Not that easy. But I am not sure at what time Tal gave this pawn and played d5. I think the game was castled. So maybe I'm mishandling the position. All right. But queen d5 is just bad. The position is plus minus because not only white has space and center, he has got advantage in time also. Black has lost two valuable moves. This is now like a ready-made attack. In IQP position, white has got two decisive tempo. Immediate threat of bishop into f6. So good or bad, g6 is only. But then a typical theme. Now all white has to do already the pawn is compromised. So h4 h5. When the pawn structure, when there is a pawn on h6, Spassky beat Petrosian in the World Championship match, the g4 g5. Now the G6 is there. The you should just play H4 H5 and open the H5, and that too white has not castled, so it is an added advantage. H4, simply preparing H5 and multiple exchange on G6 later on. This is too slow. He is trying to deflect the queen from the diagonal. Knight into H5 is lost. Rook into H5. Easy to see. So only move. No problem. Better to play queen to E3 because the queen E3 you will have eye on this point. Because when you play queen E3, pawn into, then the F into E is unplayable. So why waste one move? Direct queen E3. Never mind. Forced. You cannot play. You cannot play H2 because the open file. All you need is the queen entry. If you play pawn into, then bishop F4 and bishop E5 and queen H6. 1, 2, 3. Just finish. Or or he can even play bishop into knight and queen H6 and after rook F8 bishop into G6. Probably NG5. That is killing. So you cannot play H into only move. Now the queen on E3 would have been handy. So anyway queen E3. Tempo. Again tempo. Position is very strong now. What about the pawn cover of the king? Now that there is no danger to white king. Hardly any piece can attack white king in center. Whereas there are a lot of targets in black camp. Hello, Khanak. Hello. Yeah. Whereas there are a lot of target in black camp. Weak E6. Then H7 is a target. H6 square is weak. There are so many targets. And the initiative continues. Not only the weak targets, and white has a strong initiative. Four pieces in attack. But wherever he goes, it is bad. Queen b3 will also not survive. After queen b3, you can see always there is a jhatka. Knight coming to with a tempo sometime. Knight comes with a tempo. Rook s3 can come and queen s6 can come. So queen b3 you will not survive. Knight into g6 threat. When there are the target on the king side becomes easier when they are already weak. Very easy. Okay, the knight into pawn is not possible because of king. So he creates that renews the threat. Knight h5 is not coming. Finish. I don't think now any defense possible. Knight f8 is only move, but that will allow queen f6. Defend. No defense possible. Mate is inevitable. Nothing he can do. For example, the simple plan of knight e4 and g5. The threat is queen h8 and rook into h7. There are so many threats. So it is not possible to defend. G7 mate, you can defend, but only for one move. All right. All right. Next. So what concept we learn here that here G6 in this kind of structure, in this kind of H4 H5 quickly. And when the structure, this position, when there is a structure like this H6, black has castled, then Spassky and Petrosian, I'll show that game. I'll show that game right now. Uh, Boris by Spassky. Boris by Spassky and black is Petro. Yeah, it is 69. Yes, this is the one. Is this the one? I don't think so. ND7. Yeah, this is the one, I think. Just see this. The old main line BG5. I told you. E6 is the standard main line. But here Petrosian is trying to deviate. This is the point. Now when there is G6 H4 H5, now white should aim at right time to open up the game G4 H4 G5. The strike will be at G5. Fully centralized. The point is, white is not wasting time with a prophylactic king B1. F4, E5 threat. Okay, this is the idea. One of the idea of rook e8 is to defend the h7 square. Now he wants to bring the possibility of this one, guarding this one. And preparing also typical BD7, BC6 and trying to get some counterplay on the center. So white is not pushing e5. Now I told you that g4, g5 must come because there is a hook h6. Now if you don't take, the attack is anyway coming. So Peterson was fond of grabbing material, but he is underdeveloped now. And this is a decisive game in the World Championship because after this, Petrosian never recovered and he lost the match in few games. A tempo, pressure. Okay, other move like Queen C5 was interesting move, but it is not that he can play Knight F3 now. Okay, now this forced, you can't push that pawn because F7 will be cracking. If you push Queen to G6, will finish the game. Forced. F5 also bad. Anyway, this is finishing. Knight is under attack. Lost. So F5 is bad, E6 is bad. So only move goes king. Now the simple threat is pawn into pawn and rook into F6. G6, Queen G8 mate. 1, 2, 3. Now the threat is he wants to play pawn into pawn, and after pawn into pawn, rook into F6. And after this, there is a mate. 1, 2, 3. So he goes defending that point. F6. The point is now the main defender is knight. Once the knight is not there, then rook into F8. Once the knight is not there, he is aiming at this and then mate here. So after E5, the space clearance. Want to dump the knight. After E5, now in pawn into pawn, you will have knight to E4. Knight to E4. Knight into knight, rook into F8 and mate. There is nothing better he could do. There is nothing better, only move. Knight is under attack. Now knight F4 trying to seal, loses to rook into, followed by then NG5. NG5 and finish. Bishop is already overloaded. Bishop E7 is not possible. And nothing stops NG. So you cannot do knight F4. Only move pawn into. But then knight G5. Only move. Now pawn into is only move. But in that case check. A check and a rook lift. Finito. Because E5 will Queen G8 mate. So it's a fantastic game. Demonstration of open line. Hello, Kanak. Yeah, it is going live. All right. Fine. So this is when this I showed you when there is H6, you have to go for G4 plan. See this the castle position when there is a pawn on H6, then the whole point is take, and that you have to work on this G4, G5 after H4 like that. This break should come. But you don't have to in a hurry. You have to complete development, bring your pieces to the center, and then try to strike. That should be the strategy. And when there is a G6, H4, H5, opening the H5. Suppose here, then dragon, then H4, H5 plan will come later. Okay, I just showed you. So, roundabout way, we are reaching semitaras. Now, if he will play bishop to F6 now, then BE4 is a good move. Why BE4 good move? Now making the life of difficult how to develop this picture. BD7 is not coming. Now how is going to develop? And this is a blunder because knight into knight and then and check and one pawn extra. So this is a blunder that makes life difficult. BE4. So we need to know in some positions that how to handle. But in this case, he should play. But then knight E5. White has the better game. White has the better game. Anyway, so my topic is not opening here. It is about the pawn cover of the king. So here, this knight back. The simple plan. Now A3, BC2, Queen D3, Rook D1. I think this is a wrong idea. The mainly when there is IQP in this kind of position, the square in front of the pawn is important. If white has maximum control, white will push the pawn and open the king. And if black has lot of control, black will firmly put a piece and a blockade. So normally in IQP, isolated queen pawn position, the square in front of the pawn becomes the focus point. So, however, let me tell you, agreed that theme is correct, but you must complete development first. So the same piece moving twice to reach the topic, the theme of blocking, it's not advisable. So Grandmaster Raymond Keane correctly punished this bad move, breaking the principle. Okay, here here you can even here what you can do. Suppose you play B6 is also bad move. B6 is also bad. Yes. This makes the easy life forward. Knight enters. Rook coming to third rank. Very simple plan. Now, one of the idea is for H5. Now, then after you will sacrifice. Now bishop H6. Even after bishop H6, he can give two pieces to uncover the king. Bishop H6 a tempo can come. Then he can sacrifice two pieces on D6 to uncover the black king. It is better. It is better. He should now forget the exchange. Now he should come knight here. Better was rook c8. He should have played knight d7 directly. Now it is better to survive today than fight tomorrow. Now if you come here, now knight into knight he can play. Okay, this is a possibility, but this is also anyway bad. But he played here bad move. Rook c8, rook c8, bishop h6. No time to survive. Forced. I told you, sacrificing two pieces on g6. Another sack. Bishop into pawn. Rook into pawn is not the best way. Queen should enter with mate threat. Anyway, he is not able to defend. What else? There is no way to defend. Mate is coming. King h7 is not possible. King f7 is not possible. Even king h8, he can just play queen into pawn and finish. So he gives a piece to survive. Now, please, whether you take or not, queen into g6 is coming. But here, the main reason for black losing is knight b4 and knight d5 losing to decisive tempo. For example, we saw the game that queen coming d4. See here, here, this one, here. This is a serious mistake. The normal line is knight f6. So giving two tempos become too much. The position is plus minus already plus minus. One cannot afford to give, especially as black, losing two tempo in an open position. All right. Now some games of Tal I have selected today. So only you have to stop e5. So we reached main line of semi variation of King's Indian defense. The idea is to provoke at 6 then come back to e3. And if black is not careful, white wants to play pawn into pawn and then get seize the line. So c6 is necessary to make a room. I think the position he should maintain tension. RD1 is a good move. Rook D1. Then it is very hard for black. So he just pushes. But this is also good. The point is now white declares direct intention to go for the neck of black king. Because center closed. The next is pawn storm. Idea g4. Idea next h4, h5. Simple way of finishing the game. That's why he closes the center. Necessary. While strategically he is planning attack, tactically he is winning a pawn. Pawn into c6 and queen d6 is coming. So you need to react only. Pawn into pawn will only add fuel to the fire. If you place pawn takes d5, then c file will be used by white only. It's a very passive position for black. So it closes it. Now the h5 is guarded, so simple plan of h4 h5 is coming. h6 is bad. Bishop e3 will worsen the situation for black. Two moves wasted. Bishop to b1. We have seen such idea in some of games of Boris Spassky, another great attacking player. So the whole point is, at the moment, all white pieces are in action, and the black weakness on b2 is not so dangerous because already queen is watching that, king is there. That means black is unable to bring three forces, on b2. So here, instead of playing bishop into c4, the bishop at b1 is well poised to attack on the black king. f5 break is not easily possible. And because the e4 is strongly protected by two knights and bishop, f4 break will come very easily. Well played. Now he will dump the knight on f5. Dumping. Now black is unable to put pressure on the white king at any point, and it is only one-sided play. All white forces, pieces and pawns in action. Well, there are many ways. So if you give to Indian, it will finish faster. But check, simple. E4 is solidly guarded, nothing to fear. He doesn't need the D6 pawn. H2, H7 is now under fire. H7 is check. So threat BG5. Crossing. Now the white bishop is smiling. B1 bishop is now into action. He pawn into G5, bishop into. Pawn into G5, finishing with bishop into, pawn into. Then rook to F1. I think that is finished. I guess so. If pawn into bishop into G5, this only move. Then rook F1. I don't see queen H8 is coming now. Ganpata Hoyai. So cannot do into. Okay, anyway he can't take it because after he takes queen H8 check and rook H7 check. Suppose you take check check finish finish over lost. So this is a model game. Of course, there are many ways to tackle the semis. Kings Indian players know how to do it. Can you have last 15 minutes of the session? Yes, sure, Rama. Last 15 minutes. Why 15 minutes? Last half an hour I'll give because there will be a question by different people on the games I showed or on some opening. I will give uh, from 4:30 to 5. I will make it for any doubt you want, any position or opening. I have not downloaded the games of Olympiad. I want to download, make a file. So I will make some because India got two medals. It is a pride for our country. Though we missed by whisker. I mean, this unfortunate loss to USA in the last round. And I will make a download and few sessions I will do Indian players triumph and good games in Olympia. Now this is lost. So here, well, this is in fact this is too complicated. So many variations because when I saw in the Tal's book, there are too many variations. Ocean theory, ocean complication. So I will just show the game and the typical part he finished. I mean, there is okay. I can show you the whole game. Already I discussed about Kings Indian. Now BG4 is not a good move. So White has the better. This is very slow. I mean, Tal was very young. The first time he's playing candidates. It was a miracle that somebody entering US champion, Russian championship and qualifying to candidate and winning the candidate and winning the world championship. Unthinkable. A record nobody can match. Not even Carlson, not nobody. A streak. Somebody qualify from the district to state, state to the national, national to the candidate, candidate to the challenger, and challenger to the title. What a streak. Misata. Now this is bad. Okay, all this thing. Now this sacrifice is not correct. I mean, of course, he should have written it. Now this is very unclear. It will be refuted by computer today. But Tal said One is a correct sacrifice and one is my sacrifice. So what is star sacrifice? In a given time, the clock ticking, human being cannot calculate myriad of variations because it is very difficult and to find the only moves and many times. This is typical. A normal player will save the bishop to d3 or e2. Huh? This is simple way, but typical task. Now he is putting pressure and bishop c3 is coming. Knight to h6 check is coming. Check. Now opponent will allow a bishop check. Getting a room for the king. I'm not giving lengthy variations. I'm not giving lengthy variations. Cannot take that. Back rank. And anyway, it's giving a threat. The threat is rook into bishop followed by queen d8 and mate. The threat is rook into d8, queen d8 check. No matter how you capture an f7 mate, smothered mate. Check. Now finish. He's winning the end game. Check and this is plus minus. Because he is not only a pawn up but an exposed king and white pieces are very active. Of course, I can analyze the game in great length, but it will require at least 2 or 3 sessions because each variation has got a lot of sub variation. So I will skip the analysis. But I just tell you that pawn cover of the king, the main discussion. Petrosian was a solid player, but here Tal comes up with a lot of interesting ideas. Well, this is only trying to. I will. If you play mechanical move s3, b3, e5 is coming. Suppose now next job for white is to develop bishop e3. If you play b3 and e4, that means a prophylactic s3 then b3. But when you play s3, black will play e5 and d5 knight to e7. It is good for black. You can see a game of Magnus Carlsen playing black side of this position. You cannot have time to play e5 and then so now or never e5. Knight e5 will be structurally bad. Knight e5 will because block his own bishop. You see, if you give lot of time, that is okay. After knight e5, take, black will have to play e6 exchange, then bring knight to e8, knight d6. There is not so much time. Good move. White has got already better game from open. Center and more active pieces. He can play queen d2 and exchange. The most important minor piece of black is the diagonal, black square bishop. And after that, he is very weak king, no counterplay. So he is preparing to play king h7, not allowed. Otherwise, if you do not play, the next plan is queen d2 and bh6. Suppose he plays mechanically and c6, then queen d2. That is why he has to halt for development. You can't allow knight into e6. That is bad. Tempo. This is the point. Well, Petrosian trying to exchange as many pieces so that his defense becomes lighter, easier. But unexpected moves because now the two knights are gunning at g5 point. No development of the bishop. I mean, nc6 is not possible. So many tempos forced. Nothing else. You can't go to queen, cannot go to e5. Only move rather. Bishop e6 is losing. Bishop and bishop, you have to take with the pawn only. Now queen f4. Knight g5. Finish. This is finished anyway. Finish. Even queen f4 was plus. Finish. 3 attack and the queen is coming to h4. There is 3 pressure on f7. I don't think any defense possible. Queen f5 will lose to queen h4. Queen f5, queen h4, there is no answer. So he is trying to cover up h7 with knight f6, but then rook into, finishing the game. No defense. Immediate queen h4, black will breathe. He will have some breathing time. Rook into. Queen into will allow queen h4, and now bishop into will allow bishop into pawn, mate. Or decisive after rook into check, mate threat, and rather only move, then check is finished. There is no pawn cover of the king. Great game by Tal. That too, none other than a player like Petrosian, opponent. So this is the Scavenian system, rouser attack. The idea is to play b3, g4, g5 quickly. f3, now h6 is bad, so g4. With the idea, you will have a quick retreat. Bishop coming tempo and g5 with a tempo. Now knight h5 is bad. If you will play knight to h5, then he will play knight to. Idea, next move will come here. Now attack, taking the knight, the h5 will open up, and if you don't take it, a fracture will come. Crushing plan. So you can't play knight h5. So only move. But then h4. Now the point is, black is hoping to have some counter action with the idea bishop b7, rook c8, with the idea pawn b4, something. But here the speed counts. Who will open a line against the opponent king? When there is opposite side castling, many times players give 1 pawn, 2 pawn, even 3 pawn just to open line, and sometimes a piece. Let's check it out now. G6, giving the pawn free. You can decline, you have to take it. But then h5, tempo. Who comes first? Speed unnudu. Speed unnudu. Forced tempo. Not giving time. The black has not even coordinated, not ready. Now, two files are open. There are now ready-made. The queen has to coming and bishop d3, rook double coming. You can double on the g file, you can double on the h file. Actually, this is 1962. They gave this explanation, but Indian says this is a bad move. Rook g5. All right, never mind. The I will not discuss into it. Rook g5 is also playable. Retreat of rook was preferable. Rook to h2 was more solid, and anyway it was winning. So he played this. The point, immediate tempo. Now rook triplet, because the b3, the dark square bishop, okay, hardly it matters. There is no time for e5. Returning rook into f6. What else? If you play king h8, rook f6 anyway. King h8 does not work. Anyway, rook f6. In fact, even that queen b2 is hardly matter. Queen B2, there is a room. You can ignore that also. But when the position is winning already, a player need not play flushing moves. You need not. You can allow a check on B2 because Queen B2, KD2, this is totally king is safe and secure. However, now the position is overwhelming. So Tal doesn't want to take a chance unnecessarily. Now that the bishop is protected, knight is moving with a tempo. Only move. Now the game finishes. A theme here. You need to find a theme. What is the theme here? I'm asking you now. What is the theme? Please suggest me. How white should finish the game? Tal mopped it up in a grand style, but find out. Finished it. Somebody. Participation by somebody. F5. The point is now any moment a rook into F6 and queen. That means all you need is a knight on D5 to give a mating net. Taking away the E6 square. Okay, pawn into pawn is also bad. Pawn into E5, pawn into F5 is only worse. So he comes. You cannot take the knight. If you take knight, rook into F6, pawn into D4, rook into F6, king into F6 loses, and if you play pawn into ND5 with a mate, mate and queen, double blow at same time. Now pawn into knight, rook F6, G6, ND5, queen G6 mate, and knight into queen is threatened. Double blow. So no time to take the D4 knight. Okay, only move. A tempo. I think resign because any queen move rook into F6. He has to play. He can't stay on E7. Any queen move, rook into F6 and the mate check on G6. Finish. Great game by Ta. All right. This is there is line NG5 is there. Bishop C4 is there. Okay. Smyslov variation. Here, here, the modern theory knight coming directly. Knight coming. And now there is another move also. You can play Bishop C4, the old main line, knight to F6, now E6, queen to E2. One, what is this? Once Karas played queen, his opponent played knight and got checkmated. So that is not a trap. So Bishop C4 is the more to the point. Bishop C4, knight F6, knight. Now queen E2. Threat is knight F7. Now knight. Now you can play BD3 when he cannot play knight into queen into D4. Queen D4, a tempo is coming. Now, if you play pawn push, knight will come back. With the idea, now if you play trying to undermine the center, we can take bishop takes pawn, knight e5, followed by the other knight will come. white is enjoying a great advantage. Total control of center and very active. And as I told you, after castle, knight f3, and because of the h6 target, after castle, because there is a target, after knight f3, g4, h4, g5, very ready-made plan. White has a ready-made plan. Knight f3 and g4, finishing the game like Tal did with Spielman. So here, pawn into many players play this so that the knight does not have access. But in this case, the problem is now b4. Now if you play a5, this, now take, sorry, you take b6. But then white can play knight. On pawn into pawn, knight. And queen here, you have got deadly queen takes pawn. this is this is over and out. Pawn into queen is a checkmate. So all these things, it is not that black will walk into all this, but in this case, the knight d7, you have bishop into pawn, is straight, ready, straightforward. But then knight, castle, knight. White has a ready-made attack. G4, h4, g5. So coming to this game, Leonard Samkovic. Okay, white is better anyway. So any which way, all had a means something extraordinary score against Karukan because he had plenty of experience against Botvinnik match 1960-61. So he had tremendous understanding and instinct against Karukan. Intending to exchange tempo, you cannot play knight into inviting the queen to the danger zone. So bishop. Here is a critical. Now, our topic is to destabilize the pawn cover of king. That means if we play f4, if black will take bishop f4, then we hit knight f6, then bf6, destroy the pawn structure. But you will not have too many pieces to attack because your knight on b3 is not joining quickly. You will have only queen, bishop, rook for attack. Is it worth it? Please check it whether f4 is a good move now, which Tal actually gave f4 with the idea to destabilize the pawn cover of black king. Now, the precise attack. Check. You need the rook. Bishop h7 is bad. After bishop h7, he will play pawn to f5 and he will run away with the king g7. Bishop f7 is a bad, bishop not correct. Rook. Forced rather forced. You can't play e5. Then queen h5 will win with this only move. Now, the rook is ready. You can see now everything changes with the rook on f1. You cannot take that. Taking that it is finished with. So only move. Now not queen h5. You want to control the dark square. The king will not allow to run away. So again Tal playing precisely. Queen to no other move. You have to go away from discover attack. Not queen check again. Because queen check will again he will go king to h8. Or even king into. Because now pawn f4 only move. The attack is playing for itself. Now bf6 is ruled out. Beautifully played. It's a mate, forcing mating net, just not a forcing mating. You cannot decline the rook. After that, queen f6 check and queen f6 check, and now g6. Party finish. G7 mate. Now queen g7 there is a mate, and if you play rook e7, self block queen h8 mate. Rook e7 is self block queen h8 mate, and now there is no answer this one, and bishop h6 also fails. Bishop h6 also fails to rook f8, rook f1. Bishop h6 also fails to rook f1, and you have to play rook to e7, then queen h8 mate, finishing the game. See the accuracy. I like the way I'll handle the attack with rook f1 initiative. So many games. Okay, I will not rush. Well, this is not the main line, but Tal wanted to keep as many pieces for attack. Objectively, here in g3 is not the correct move. White position is slightly better. So the development is complete. Now rooks are coordinated. Next one starts. How to handle the attack now? Find out. It is a natural attacking instinct. Black has got a solid pawn cover, and he has three guards, two knights, bishop nearby. So it is not easy that you can sacrifice. But Tal finds a plan here. First, he want to plant a knight on e5. As Pasky said, in Russia, we first we first bring a knight to e5, then plant that. So Russian knight is coming to e5. Now he's all set. Then a rook will come to third rank or a pawn storm will come. Eh? Continuously you have to watch the f7 point also. Necessary. It is not easy to find a plan. Queen into is useless now because it is already guarded. Now Tal comes up with a plan. Want to weaken the pawn cover of the king. Now f7 is under danger. F7 is directly threatened. What else? You play g6. That is what he precisely wants. If you play g6, queen f3 is coming, and then or queen h6 coming. Now g6, queen f3 will come. You can't play pawn to f5, mate in one. Pawn f5 is not possible. Checkmate on h6. So he plays knight to g6. But now Tal sacrifices a knight for two pawns on the castle position. Investment is very little. You are giving 3 points precisely, getting 2 pawns and initiative. Takes now g7 and g6. Threatening g6 check, queen into threatening g7. So Philip defended both. Now you have done the job. There is no point staying queen alone there. So better come back quickly. Come back. The idea is not to win the pawn. Of course, by bishop into g6, you can win, but you need to continue the attack. You need to continue the pressure. Here, it was better for black to play queen f6, even though white is better. Even though white is better. For example, should have played now queen f6. In this case, f4. Neither knight can take, nor pawn can take. You cannot capture the pawn anyway. Knight is pinned, pawn is pinned, and queen into pawn is losing a piece. Initiative is there. So he will play maybe check. Now the threat is continue. Difficult position. So here he played a bad move, queen. Now the main idea of black is to exchange the queen on g4. So Tal stops it. Now again excellent move. Now he wants to open up the position and bishop into f2 is welcome. Tal says, you be my guest. Take the pawn, eat it. Cannot take. Rook F1 will finish. Cannot take. The rook is pinned. Now he finds a good way. Attack. And after the move, rook to d8 back, rook d3. With the idea, rook f3 and the attack comes. It is anyway, attack comes. Plus minus. Very hard to defend. But he blundered now. Now rook into d4. Opening line. Pawn into bd5, winning, picking up the queen. Now, if you place pawn into bd5 and rook into h6, bd5, lost. But anyway, the position, not that it is a blunder, anyway it was bad. Anyway it was bad. Actually, if you analyze the games of world champions, uh, on this topic, pawn cover of the king, Tal, Spassky, Anand, and I would say Isaac, Kasparov, they are experts in this line that the king is Tal. In this topic, the Tal is the boss. I was watching this game live at Subotica 1987. Old main line. Okay, everything is normal. C4. White has got a clear superior game. Center, mobility, ready for the action. I told you that 6 pawn, that G4, H4, G5 black should come. So Tal is waiting for black to castle. Castle. So what are you waiting for? Now welcome. If you take queen d4, then bc3 and the knight f3, g4, fatafat attack. Fast finish. It accepts the challenge. I would admire the nerves of Spielman. I admire the nerves of Spielman grabbing the Tal pawn. Now, all set. The next plan is G4. G4, H4, G5, G4, Rook G1, G5, anything. Okay, there are three guards. Even the bishop C8 is also guarding that. So, king has 3, 4 guards. But the five active, six pieces of white are attacking. Six white pieces. And also the two pawns. H1, G pawn. I don't think, I don't think he will survive. Who cares for the pawn that side? Now, the threat. Bishop H7, check. Then bishop G6, check. So you can't allow, you have no time to take the bishop on C3. Bishop on C3 you cannot take. Now bishop into F7 check. No, no, no. First knight into. This is harmless. There is nothing. There is a mate on H8. Don't take on B2 pawn. There is a mate on H8. Now knight into F7 is inaccurate. So Tal played the precise bishop takes. Only move. Now the simple threat is to play knight f3, discover check, and knight e5. The simple threat is this. Finishing the game. Mate in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not the queen. Now pawn into pawn or queen into b2, knight f3 check, and knight e5 check, then queen h6 and queen h8 mate. So only move. There is nothing. There is nothing. You play cb2, check, 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 and rook finish. The knight is lost. The bishop is lost. Queen under attack. No time to take. So check and winning the game. It's just lost. Now the whole point is Smyslov was so much hypnotized during the game. He played here e5. Then he's looking at the spectators. How could he do this? He's looking at the spectators. And then he resigned. It was hardly some 15-20 minutes. I think the game was over in half an hour. And believe me, I was the first time seeing such a big tournament. The whole entire audience stood applaud, a standing ovation to Tal. The whole audience gave a standing ovation, and the arbiters had to stop the clocks. 2-3 minutes, collapse, 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 collapse. Standing ovation. So Smilman is looking at the spectators. We have time for one more game. Another Karokan, another smashing attack. In my opinion, classical is more solid, but Smyslov variation ND7 is more ambitious. BF5 is this is much more solid approach, and it was also favorite of Anatly Karpov. He was playing this quite a lot. BF5 is good, not easy though. White has space and some tempos, so this is better, more solid. Okay, so everything is going normal. White has got better game. Now bishop b1 and queen to c2, and he will continue to take the initiative further. What else? This is a thematic punch in Karukan that black strikes at center by playing c5. Nothing wrong. You cannot take that because 7 will pick up the queen. Knight e5 is not possible. Anyway, bf7. If now king into and d7 and queen d3 check or rook into, the knight on d7 is doubly attacked. All right. Here I am asking a question to all of you. White has got the clear better game. Rook on the seventh house. The king's pawn cover is weak. Knight on e5 is watching important square. Then the bishop on e7 is not so well placed. So what should White do now? A critical moment. Take your time and tell me how should White push the game further. Strengthen the initiative further. Ramakrishna, I did not play 50 bliss games. Nearly 300. Around 300 bliss games is all I played. Because every day morning I will go with the chess clock and chess board pieces and play with him around 12 to 15 games. Okay, now this is amazing, amazing move. Now to attack on the queen side, a player may think I will play h4, h5, one plan. Then maybe I will bring the regroup, play rook to d1. There are so many attacking moves. But Tal makes a move which is really hard for black. Pawn to b4. To attack on the queen side, he makes an irrelevant looking pawn move, b4. The point is, now queen into b4 is unplayable. Why? The queen is overloaded. Queen is overloaded to watch this. Otherwise, knight into pawn will come. Knight into g6, knight into g6, and queen is watching this. So queen is overloaded. Queen b4 is not possible. And on pawn into b4, he will play c5. c5. Now bishop into is not possible. f7 is cracking. Queen into is not possible. B7 falling. Then what is he going to do? Crushing. Now the position is getting crushed quickly. the e6 point. So b4, what a move, b4. So he played here bishop c8. Miles pawn into, now tempo. One more piece joins the fray. One more piece. Ignoring the exchange threat. Go ahead and take it. Now, what he can do? Taking the rook is not working. If you take the rook, bishop to e3 will kill him. Bishop into d7, be3 with a double blow. f7 and b6. bd7 loses to be3. Attacking queen and mate. So, only move, but then knight into pawn. Welcome to take the rook anyway. King into is losing. If king into knight, bishop e5 winning. Check. Cool move. Now, 4 5 pieces in near the black king. So, how is he going to develop? Now, bishop c8 has no good square. If rook b8 is also tied down to the a7 pawn. So, Miles made a natural move. Rook f8, and that is the end of the game. Rook into e7. It will lead to mate. Rook into e7. Queen into bishop check with a typical mate. Not mate exactly, but winning immediately. Finishing the game. Another another beautiful game. b4. What a move! A move playing on the queen side. Now he is threatening. You can't take the pawn. You can't take the pawn either way. And now after the move, this is finished. Fantastic game. So now one more. I think I have time for one more game. Then I will attend to any doubt, any question you ask on any position. After another 2 3 sessions on the topic, I will give about 10 sessions on games from Olympiad. We had 6 teams, so I will select the good games and we'll work it on it. Mukesh games, games of Pragananda, games of Hampi. I'm going to select and then we'll see the games from Olympiad for Indian players. Okay, so one more game, Visata. Now h6 is the correct move. Now bishop g5 must be stopped. So he ignores it. Okay, bg5 is a positional advantage to white because of the d5 weakness. You can see Smyslov Denker, then you can see Boleslavsky versus Lisitsyn. There are so many games. So bg5 was more correct, but anyway, this is also good enough. It is an error. Error. This is not correct. Of course, he is trying to force exchange. NC4 is a threat. So NC4 must be stopped. Knight into B3 does not bother white because he will play A into B with tempo, ahead in development, and also open line. So he plays stopping NC4. So black insisting on NC4. Well, go ahead. Now NG5 must be stopped. Well, this is an interesting move, but now Tal comes up with an attack on the black king. The threat of knight f5. You cannot afford to give the knight up. Thereafter, positionally, black will be very poorly placed. So, knight f5 is a threat. So, he played bishop g4. Welcome. Welcome to take the exchange. The knight will enter with a mate threat. Mate threat and bishop threat. There is nothing else. Because knight into e7 is a check, then he will pick up a one piece down. Only move. Now the game has taken a different turn. Suddenly, Black King is under tremendous pressure. Only thing Black is hoping that the White Rook is not coming immediately into the game, so he is hoping to survive. What a move! Typical task. Now, any which way, there is Rook wants to come very quickly, and he picks up a pawn. Now, the E cannot decline it. King G8 is not working, so only move. Now, Knight F5 is a threat. Knight F5 is a threat now. Then BF5 will be obligatory. Then it is finishing fast. So, Rook D1 is coming that later on. Finally, the Rook has joined. Rook lift to third rank, and I doubt Black King will survive. So, he is preventing the Rook because back rank. Now, he is prevented Rook D3, but then this Knight check. Now, anyway, again Knight F5 is threatened. Anyway, Knight F5 is threatened. So, he stops that, but then pawn into, and he gave up. I think it is too premature, a little bit early, but the position is anyway hopeless. The position is hopeless anyway. Here, the move it can be go like this. How we will finish this game? I think positionally only crushed. Positionally only will crushed. Lost. Lost position. Maybe you can take the pawn also as well. Lost. So the whole point is this is in knight f3. Opening is not dangerous. Where is this one? e5, knight f3, h6 is more precise. And black should play next b7, then castle, and regroup the knight. Regroup the knight. But anyway, it is bishop e6 and regroup. Hmm. So now we'll spend half an hour from any of your question. Yeah. Feel free to ask me how many games left. I could show another 11 games left today. So I will show the next sessions. All Ginger's really. Okay. Well, I'm ready to now. Waiting for your question. Look into C6 in Catalan. Look into C6 or knight into C6. Catalan, are you asking in C6 or rook C6? Look into C6. Can you give me a move order? Because I will search means it will take time. Ramakrishna, can you give me a move order, please? Can you give me a move order? Because it will take time to search. Or name me any game. Can you give me a move order? Or name me any game, I will get it quickly. One is sack took into C6. Okay. All right. Let me take you. Let me see. This I I have no mega database. It got deleted. Got deleted. Unfortunately, it got deleted. E04 to E08 is Catalan. Giri. One is Giri. It should not be E04. Mostly it will be. It will not be E04. Not the one. It should be E07. In my opinion, it will be on E07. I will have to see. Okay, Anish Giri versus Hansen. Anish Giri versus Hansen. My mega database has been deleted, so I will be unable to search. I will check that game. So please, we can work out on this game, Giri versus Hansen. But now I will not able to get it, my data. So please ask me some other question. I will keep the question in pending. I'm not getting it. Okay, Ramakrishna, I will keep this question in pending. Any other question? Yeah, small advantages I can show. For example, I will show a game a small advantage. Nikolai Krogius. This also in my topic, on cover of the king, total theoretical line. This is a bad king position. White has got advantage, positional advantage, backward e6 pawn, weak square, and also a weak pawn structure of castle. So white advantage apparent. Black has so many weaknesses. e6 weak, c6 weak, a7 weak, and also weak squares, bad king. Welcome to exchange the knight, because knight will come with a tempo. After knight into knight e5, rook c8, simply h4 h5 will cross him. Forced. No, this is not a small advantage. This is just a crush. So I will rather show. I just saw in the morning today. Today in the morning I saw a beautiful game. Which flare? Just a minute. Okay. Whose game I would like to show you the game of okay. Let me show two games which are really good. Okay, okay. The game is from Olympiad. Okay, send you PGN in the mail. Okay, I can discuss the game tomorrow. Okay, hello Chess Prajapati. I will show some interesting games. Yuri Mesko, theoretically the position as white has no advantage. Black has completed development, and the exchange of bishops made it like easier for black. So black is playing all correctly. So far, not a single mistake. This is the first mistake. Now he should bring his pieces into the game. Like he should bring rook to c8, a6. These are the moves. So bad move. Even in the center for no reason. So this gives opportunity. White brings rook to third rank. Now black is going in the wrong direction. He is preparing to give some threat on f2 point. What else? You can't do g3, that is bad. So a wrong calculation. If you look at the material side, black has given two pieces for rook and pawn. It is not about the material. It is about a grip on the dark squares. Bad. Outwardly, it looks that black is winning because the only 1 point down now is getting a piece. But the position is lost for black. And the way the master Yuri Mesko, he is basically not fully blind, partially blind, and he demonstrated with amazing accuracy. And anyway, the knight is on d4 lost, so black defended the threat. You have to take the knight, no choice. Now the position, how many weaknesses? The queen has no mobility because knight is watching the square. The queen cannot go. The rooks are having no mobility. The king is also not very well placed. Look at the centralized piece and center, completely choking him. You can see the queen has not a single move. The one of the threat of white is b4, b5. b4 maybe queen to a2, then b4, b5, queen b3. Welcome to exchange knight when queen is trapped. Knight into d5 will trap the queen. Okay, white has played very well so far. Now, how should white continue to play for advantage? How should white play? Can somebody suggest me how should white continue? Yes, Ramakrishna, very well said. Rook into f6 because the knight is stronger at d5. You don't have to play knight into knight. And now rook into. Now the queen will enter the dark square. Forced, forced. Now there is a mate threat in two move. Queen h6, knight f6 mate. Only move. Only move. Again, the only move. He has no time to play rook to e6 because the check and rook knight tempo is coming. Only move. Now, double exchange down. How should you finish the game? Fantastic move. Not interested in the exchange. He is not interested. The idea is to knight check mate. Knight check and mate in two. The only move to stop mate. And now the ending is lost. Forced. Or you cannot take that. Because queen x7, queen h7, king pawn ending will come. Resign. Wonderful game. Wonderful game by the IBCA world champion. One more game of same player I will give. There is simple threat. The simple threat is ND5. Now, if black plays mechanically bishop d7, the simple threat is ND5. And now pawn into with advantage. Clear advantage. So, he has to exchange the knight or move the queen. Now, what an amazing idea. The point is, now black cannot play b6 or b5. The queen cannot move. The rook needs protection. You can see the problem is facing. He building up slowly. With the idea, now the knight is not allowed, forced. You have to take with the bishop. Now, now that the queen is protected, Black is preparing to play pawn to b6, which is stops. Pawn b6 is stopped. Rook into d8 and winning. Now he plays. Idea pawn b6 is not working now. Now bishop a5 is a threat. What to do now? He was threatening bishop a5, which is beating. What to do now? Can somebody suggest me what should white do? Bishop a5. Why not b e5? Bishop e5. Back rank. Back rank. Bishop a5. He has got pawn b6 and survive. Bishop a5, pawn b6, but bishop e5 double attack. Because bishop into bishop, queen into b8. Now you cannot decline the bishop and queen into b8. Back rank. Lost. Simply exchange down and black is lost. White is exchange up and winning. One more game. I have time to show you. One more game. This is so called Henning Sarah Gambit. This is called the Henning Sarah Gambit. Black giving a pawn for piece activity. Not the best move. Now, Black's plan is to castle quickly and launch a counter attack. Pawn up. So White wants to exchange. Black goes queen. Okay. So I want you to show me a finish. Somebody show me a finish here. This Henning Sarah Gambit is just losing. Henning Sarah Gambit, it is just losing. Korchnoi, Spassky, many grandmasters have demonstrated Henning Sarah Gambit is just bad. Okay, it is working as a trap for newcomers. You can play at lower level, they will not be able to handle the attack. Can somebody show me how should white play now? So called Henning Sarah Gambit. Right answer. Rook into d6. The point is the black square. Haraki, rook into. After queen into e5 and the game will go bad. e5. So that you will have access to queen. You can't decline. Now piece down. And now this is too much. This is too much. Too much to handle. After rook here, a check. He cannot come queen. Then knight and queen check is coming. And after here, you can play rook. Now bishop check is threatened. And on knight, rook into knight. So you can't do that. And after now where you will move the king. You can't come here. Just come. You should win. Because the two pawns, the he may be two exchange, double exchange down. But I think it will win slowly. So Henning Sara Gambit is just bad. Let's see Henning Sara Gambit. Henning Sara Gambit. Okay. So called Henning Sara. This is the main line. The idea is to get a quick attack. G5, G4, open the line and for counter attack. The discover attack on the queen is no problem. Queen A4 will come. So this is the critical moment. Counter attack. Both will try to open the king position of opponent. The pressure on A2 is there. You are welcome. Queen against king. Now the material is equal, but white pieces are well poised to attack the black king. Forced. Take the central knight. You can take queen check, but that is not queen f2 check. C7 check is not this one. So and I think this is already better for white. I will show a more authentic game. Okay, Peter Nikolic, Pedrag Nikolic. G5. So this is the only plan. The whole point is and bring the pieces, exchange will win the game. So G5 is the only move to trying to destabilize white. But then no hurry. Where is the attack? Just one pawn up. Just a solid pawn up. And there is no apparent activity of black. The simplest way to refute, I would say. This Petrarch Nekulik's A3 idea preventing. This is a simple way. You have to castle to play G5, G4. You have to move the queen, king in front of queen. Otherwise, I am going to play B4, B5. If white black ignores B4, then B5, a discover attack. So move. Now this is the only plan. What is there? One solid pawn. Desperation. What is there? Nothing. Just pawn and piece down. Can you suggest an ambitious but no risk opening line for white? Actually, in chess, no, you should not be afraid of risk. How much risk? The point is, sometimes you give a pawn sack, Sometimes you give a piece sack or even more material. So, what kind of risk? If you have compensation, there is no risk. For example, here black taking a risk and there is nothing to swap. So, I would say this is the simplest way. White is refuting the Henningsen. What is this man? Okay, so taking head on. I think I am not in favor of this. Pedrag Nikolic's idea is simply good. Some peace play is involved. There is no. All right. Okay, I will discuss some lines. Discuss some line. So thank you very much, friends, being with me. I will tomorrow. I will find out some technical games and also try to cover up my topic as fast as possible so that I can analyze the games from Olympiad. First, I have to compile the games, select them, and then only I can discuss. It will take me few sessions for Olympiad. Okay. See you everybody tomorrow, 3 p.m. Take care and bye.